as she prepared, I know that some of you have heard her speak in the past, and she gave an inspirational message during our the banquet for our seniors. So I know that she is capable. Pray for her as she come forth. Amen.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you, Miss Maria, for that introduction. First, giving on to God, who's the head of my life, and the pastor of the house, and to my pastor, Pastor Roosevelt Sanford, and to my parents for helping me and encouraging me to do this. I'm a little nervous. Today, I will be speaking upon the topic, Stand Bold on Faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen, and that's found in Hebrews 11:1. The meaning of faith is to have complete confidence or trust in someone or something. And now in these days, when we think of faith, we're thinking of like having faith and a strong belief in something, and it's a real shame because most of the time parents are encouraging their young children to have faith in Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy or Easter Bunny, the idol gods, but when they should be encouraging their children to have faith or a strong belief and have a relationship with Jesus Christ. I will be reading to you Hebrews 11:6, and it is in a New International Version. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. Those who come to God must believe that He exists, and that they must believe that He rewards those who look to Him. So basically, what's that saying is that without faith and without having a relationship in God, it is impossible to be able to talk to Him or to be able to have Him answer or deliver you from something without faith. Faith is a strong part of a relationship with God, and it's something that you have to have. And also, you must believe that He exists, which is also by faith, even though you can't see God, but you have to have enough faith to know that He is there with you. And also, you must know that He is a rewarder for those who look to Him, and He rewards us throughout our whole life, like with giving us blessings. I will be, there's this young man in the Bible that I really look up to, and he's David. He was a young shepherd boy, and so many people just thought that he was a nobody, but really he was the chosen one to be king. And he's such a powerful young man that I really look up to. And his story is actually found in 1 Samuel chapter 17, but I'm going to fast forward a little bit to 1 Samuel chapter 16. So in 1 Samuel chapter 16, this is when God tells Samuel to anoint David to be the king of Israel, and I'll be reading verses 1 through 13, and it reads, "The Lord said to Samuel, 'How long will you be filled with sorrow because of Saul? I have refused to have Saul be king. Fill your animal horn with olive oil and go on your way. I am sending you to Jesse in Bethlehem. I have chosen one of his sons to be king.' But Samuel said, 'How can I go on? Saul will hear it, then he'll kill me.' The Lord said, 'Take a young cow with you and tell the elders of Bethlehem that I've come to offer a sacrifice to the Lord. Invite Jesse to the sacrifice, then I will show you what to do. You must anoint for me the one I point out to you.' Samuel did what the Lord said. He arrived at Bethlehem. The elders in the town met with him. They were trembling with fear. They asked, 'Have you come in peace?' Samuel said, 'Yes, I have come in peace, and I come to offer a sacrifice to the Lord. Set yourselves apart to him and come to the sacrifice with me.' Then he set Jesse and his sons apart to the Lord. He invited them to the sacrifice. When they arrived, Samuel saw Eliab and thought that this has to be the one. He wants me to anoint him." But the Lord said to Samuel, "Do not consider how handsome or tall he is. I have not chosen him. I do not look at the things people look at. Man looks at how someone appears on the outside, but I look at what's in the heart." Then Jesse called for Abinadab. He said to him, "Walk in front of Samuel." But Samuel said, "The Lord hasn't chosen him either." Then Jesse had Shamrah walk by. But Samuel said, "The Lord hadn't chosen him either." Jesse had 7 of his sons walk in front of Samuel. But Samuel said to him, "The Lord hasn't chosen any of them." So he asked Jesse, Are these your only sons?" "No," Jesse answered. "My youngest son is taking care of the sheep." Samuel said, Send for him. I won't sit down until he arrives." So Jesse sent out for his youngest son, and he had him brought in. His skin was tan, and his fine appearance and handsome features. Then the Lord said, "Get up and anoint him. This is the one." So Samuel got the animal horn that filled with olive oil, and he anointed David in front of his brothers. From that day on, the Spirit of the Lord came with David and with power. So that basically says that it doesn't matter what your outer appearance is, but it matters the relationship and what's on the inside that counts. So I would be skipping forward to verses 17, to chapter 17, But since it's so long, I'm just going to really do like a recap on what it is. So this is about David going up against Goliath. So David is the young shepherd boy that got anointed to one day rule over Israel and be king. And when it was time for the Philistines to go up against the Israelites, David wanted to be included, but everyone thought that he was too young and too little, that he wasn't capable enough of being able to go up and fight for war. So three of Jesse's oldest sons went up and fought in battle. Whenever it was time for Jesse to give his sons food, he sent David to go and give it to him. Whenever the Philistines and Israelites were ready to go into war, in the Philistines, they had a really tall man named Goliath. He's literally like 4 of me put together, so that's like really tall. He was a very strong, big, giant, muscular man, and whenever the Israelites saw him, they became very fearful and wanted to run away. And Goliath had challenged the Israelites to fight him. So Goliath said, Can any man come up against me? And if the man can kill me, well then we the Philistines will serve your God. But if you don't, you will have to serve us." Whenever David heard this, he wanted to go up and fight him, and while everyone else was running away, and he asked his brothers and many other men, "Well, why are you running away when you have a God that's greater and stronger than him?" And they were like, "Well, he's way bigger than us, and he could like simply chop you in half and you be dead and not even think about it." So whenever one of the other men heard David say this, he went to King Saul, and King Saul had him sent forth. And whenever David discussed this with King Saul, he let him go. And it says here that when King Saul then dressed David in his own clothes, he put on the coat of armor on him, and he put on a bronze helmet on his head. David put the Saul sword over his clothes. And whenever David put on all that stuff, he realized that God wanted him to go just as he was, because earlier in the story, God was basically preparing him for what was happening now, because he brought forth lions and bears and how he protected his sheep. And he was like, I don't need any of this when God already has me and I could be myself. And whenever he went down to the lake, he got 5 smooth stones to kill Goliath with. And whenever it was time to go into battle, he walked up to Goliath and said, I'm coming against you in the name of the Lord who rules over all the land. He is the God of the armies of Israel, and he's the one you have dared to fight against me. This very day the Lord will hand you over to me, and I will strike you down. And he did just that. He took his slingshot, and it went straight into his hand. And that just goes to show us that we have to stand bold on faith, and we can't let people sit up here and say, "Oh, you're little this," and "Oh, you can't do that," because even in this day and time, it showed me that I have to have faith to go forward. Even when I'm being accused of something that I haven't done, I have to know that I have strong, bold faith and believe that God can deliver me through this. Do you have strong, bold faith?